Hey people, it's DMB. Today I'm going to attempt to remake and reimagine Half-Life 2 in the Unity game engine. Give it a sort of Black Mesa treatment because I absolutely fucking love this game to death, and I am the only one crazy enough to try this. And not only am I going to try, I'm absolutely going to fail because I am a solo developer and have never done something like this before. But you know what? Making what I have right now has been so fun that I'm going to give it a try anyways, and at this point, I don't even give a fuck if I die in the process. So, let's get to it. So you may be asking, what is this little project of yours exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked, random person on the internet. This currently unnamed game, put your ideas in the comments, is a remake/reimagining of Half-Life 2 and its episodes. Yes, I'm well aware that this is already a ridiculous scope for a project, but hear me out, it gets worse. With built-in full support for PC, console, and VR. And I was thinking about campaign co-op at some point, but I'd have to put in the network code, and I don't wanna, because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. So, no. But that's the gist. Now for the rest of the video, we'll talk about the core play modes of the game, just to give you people a better feel for what's in store. So, the bit that I'll be putting the main focus on is good old traditional keyboard and mouse Half-Life 2, and the game will pretty much work just as you'd expect from previous playthroughs of old Reliable, with some minor modifications. Some of which may include compatibility stuff with VR, like more handsy picking up of items, as in Freeman will actually pick up stuff with his hands and hold them instead of hovering in the air. It won't really work any different, it's just the holding is different. You can still throw shit and do whatever you want, but at least for picking up stuff regularly, it'll work like that. The gravity gun will be normal, though. Another change would be logical changes to subtly update the game to a more modern standard, like slightly more fluid movement sway, etc. Don't worry, I value Gordon's total lack of personality in all the games. In keeping with Half-Life 2, stuff like that won't be too exaggerated. Some retcons and changes to areas to make them better and/or makes more sense. Entirely new areas, especially in episodes 1 and 2, to flesh them out more. And finally, I'm thinking about throwing in a couple pairs of the gravity gloves for Alex and you to use, as they work so well and are so fun in Half-Life Alyx that it'd almost be a crime not to include them in this game, especially because I have VR players to think of now. In flat screen modes, I'm thinking they could either act as like a flip health towards me kind of situation on a quick button, or maybe just have the game not give you a pair of them if you're in flat screen. The second play mode is on consoles, and because PC and console are so similar, most of the stuff I said about PC players applies here as well. Just expect a much nicer controller-friendly UI and some quality of life stuff that I'll think about later. Now, for the meat and potatoes, make a developer's life hell part of the project. VR support. The newest part of the game that introduces so many other fucking problems. Good fucking lord. I remember Valve saying in an interview that they wouldn't make a keyboard and mouse version of Half-Life Alyx because it was basically like developing two games at once, and they were so different that it wouldn't work up to their standards. Let me tell you something. The more I try to do just that, the more I realize that they probably knew what they were talking about. Developing for VR is fucking difficult, but I'm gonna face this challenge head on. I'm gonna have amazing stuff. We're gonna be armored up in my 90s power armor, guns blazing, crowbar that I can barely hold in hand, and we'll do this together, dear viewer. So, high probability of failure disclaimer aside, what's up with the mysterious new territory of the VR version? Here's some of the basics. I'm keeping as close to Half-Life 2 as possible to minimize work, or at least as close to the flat screen version. I'm supporting every kind of VR locomotion seen in Half-Life Alyx, so that's teleport, shift, continuous, as well as continuous turn and snap turn. I'm drawing heavily from Alyx and somewhat from Boneworks as the main inspirations for this game's VR mode. I'm prioritizing world interactions such as physical hands that collide with objects, picking up things, buttons, switches, etc., as well as weapon interaction. And here's some random cool ideas that I have. So you know how Gordon doesn't wear a helmet in Half-Life 2? See Half-Life Alyx ending? Yeah, I think I'm going to change that for the VR version just so I can have a really cool suit putting on sequence where you put on the helmet and the HUD shows in 3D. I also want the flashlight to be attached to your head so that it goes with your view when you look around. It just makes more sense to me for it to be that way since it seems to work that way in Half-Life 2 anyways. Alright, so you know how there's that plug point thing on both the health and suit chargers? I think I want to make use of that. I never got how the suit healed Gordon and charged itself, so I think I'll take the opportunity there to make a bit of interactive sense of it. Maybe you take a cord out of the suit, hook it up to the health station, and it starts healing you? I don't know. The main problem is that whatever interaction I decide on needs to be quick in and quick out kind of thing, as the player needs to be able to do everything as speedily as base Half-Life 2 to even have a chance of keeping up with the flat screen players. Okay, that's the outline for my fun little endeavor. Now some wrap up for this first devlog. If it wasn't already clear by watching the video, I'm not afraid of making tasteful changes to this game. The game absolutely won't be radically different from what you expect, but there are some things about Half-Life 2. Flashlight hooked up to suit power that I'm thinking of editing or removing or adding stuff to, etc. Eventually I'll find a way to interact with and consult the community on some changes I'd personally like to make, and I'll be taking playtesters when the game's in a good enough shape for such a thing. But for now, I'll be posting these devlogs so you can keep up with my work, and hopefully that'll provide some interesting insight into what's going on while you guys can't interact with it. My goal is to only change things just enough so that they're improved and different enough to attract older players who want a new experience. And to add a couple more ways to play the game. With that said, thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for devlog number 1, where I get started on making the game. Or rather, just tell you what I've done already, because I've already done a fuck ton of things. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends because it really helps the algorithm or something. I don't know, man. It probably does something. And if you want to help me with this, you must first vow to understand that I am learning this shit as I go, and I am just an idiot with a keyboard. So don't expect much from me. As for what you can do, currently you can motivate me by yelling at me in the comments if I haven't uploaded in a while, or politely giving me ideas through the comments. If you want to actually directly help by lending code or models or sounds or something else, then maybe later. I'm not sure I'm ready for social interaction. Okay, bye.